Finally, we have a fucking patch.
Finally, dude. We've been
Finally.
waiting for this.
I don't even count that like hotfix 12.5B or whatever bullshit. No one cares. No one cares about that.
Yeah.
We got an actual patch, guys. Welcome. March is almost over. This fucking year is going by fast. I didn't even think about that.
Dude, I know
Fuck
it's
my life.
March 29th at the time of recording this, and you are on episode 40 of the According to Low Elo podcast, where we talk about all things League. Welcome.
So 12.6 coming out, and of course, before we get into Tyler's LCS talk and the actual episode, we are going to go over last week's poll. And our question for last week was, what do you think about the upcoming Prestige Mythic content overhaul? How will this new format affect your in-game spending?
Yeah, we have a very few good answers, and even just looking at the poll, a very spread result of the poll is what I was trying to say. And I don't know what happened in my brain, but that didn't work out. Yeah, go over the first answer.
Okay, yeah. So Andrew wrote in and said, I have 7 gemstones. I'm literally only going to get enough mythic essence for Ashen Pike, Night Pike. Yes, that's
Yeah,
looks
dude,
incredible.
I'm 100% with you on that point, dude.
Ashen Knight Pike, because I absolutely love that champ and this skin is a masterpiece, but that's the only change I'm making. So this is like the newest. I feel like first of all, when was the last because the only gemstone skins that were coming out, I'm not counting prestige skins, they're like Hextech.
There was the Dreadnova.
But so that's what I was getting at. Everything, so like Dreadnova came out in the beginning, which was 4 years ago or whenever. And then
Jesus
after that,
Christ, is it really
sure,
that
they
long
had
ago?
like 1 or 2, but like, and then it felt like for 3 years, it was just Hextech skins.
There was the Darkstar line too.
Oh, what,
For
Cho'Gath?
Karma, that's Dawnbringer, Karma, Darkstar, Cho'Gath.
Those skins I know were
Dreadnova.
because of, whatchamacallit. They were charities, fundraisers.
Okay. Oh, and then Soul Stealer Vayne.
See,
And
all those-
Lancer
so those-
Zero Hecarim, but those are all old as balls.
So what I'm getting at is this is the first new, like, gemstone, because the Cho'Gath and the Karma skin you could buy with RP when they came out.
Yeah.
But this is the first new gemstone skin, like in a new line, and it's a brand new skin line. Looks fucking insane. I don't even play Pike, but I'm gonna buy them.
Oh, dude, I thoroughly enjoy Pike. But like there's definitely some games where I've played where it feels bad to play Pike, like or
okay.
I'm not able to hit the resets, and I'm like, dude, what am I doing? Because if you're not hitting the damage or the resets, then like you're a useless ass champion. But
that's okay now. You're gonna have a new skin, and it's gonna be better.
that's right. So everyone who sucks can play Pike again. Woohoo!
Alrighty, what else we got?
We have Rayanne again, once again, always hitting us with the awesome comments.
She's the best.
She's the most commenting. Well, I don't know, between her and Joa. She said, it won't necessarily affect me much, but I can see those who play and invest more money into League being upset. And I could see that. I don't know. I feel like when League brings out these, like, quote-unquote, hot, new, fresh things, people tend to spend on it, to be honest. How long it's gonna last, that I don't know. But I know when they bring out that new, pun intended, people spend on it for sure. So I think the very first maybe month or two won't be telling on to how the new system actually works. I think we won't find out really till 6 months, maybe a year. As more content comes out, obviously, as well. If they're selling us or sending out fire content, then I think it'll be fine.
Also, you just gotta realize how big the League player base actually is.
So
'Cause
many.
if you go on the subreddit, and I know we've said this a million times, there's a couple million people on the subreddit that follow it, but then you see a post talking about like, oh, these are bullshit. This event pass is not worth the money. It has 5,000 upvotes.
Yeah.
That's nowhere near. What I'm getting at is there are always going to be people that are going to spend money.
Right.
I don't think Riot gives a shit because they know eventually that they're probably going to break even on it, even
Right.
though, a lot of people are bitching about it. We'll say, though, they did revert, and I think we'll get to this, but I wanted to mention this because it kind of has to do with the gemstone stuff. They are reverting the thing to, you can still re-roll skins and get mythic skins now.
Okay, so they're not getting rid of that.
Yeah, people were too butthurt about that, so they're going to keep that in.
Okay, whatever. I guess that's
It
fine.
makes it a little bit better. I mean, it's like a 1% chance.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I think I did see people complaining about that on Reddit. Now that I think about it, I think I
Well,
did see people.
it was
saying the same
stupid
thing,
because
but okay.
in the event passes, they're getting rid of the gemstones,
Right.
and they're just giving
Right.
you a skin that could possibly only be 520 RP, like in value,
Right.
which would suck. So.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Alrighty, what else we got?
We got Joa, and this one came in a little jumbled, so I'm gonna say it the way I think you meant it. And if I'm wrong, dude, send in another reply or whatever and let me know that I'm wrong, or I don't know, write me an email or something. I don't know. Tell me that. Figure out a way to tell me that I'm wrong, and I will recant it. But he wrote, "It won't affect my in-game spending because I'm too poor."
I relate.
Right. I spend when I shouldn't, so I feel you there.
Right.
But I think Riot just invented the next cash cow because there are some really nice skins in the prestige segment, like Fizz. I think is what he's saying. Which means I should go look. I don't remember seeing a Fizz.
It was an April Fool's skin.
Oh,
Was it Fuzz Fizz
got it. Okay.
or Dog Fizz or whatever the fuck that is? 'Cause that
Oh,
got a
yeah.
prestige skin.
I like that one because he's actually a Cavalier King Charles, like my dog. That's I think the only reason I like that skin.
Yeah,
But
it's cool.
But I actually I don't disagree with you because Dee and I actually were talking about this the other day when we were trying to make sure we understood what you were saying. And what I thought about was that slight mention of the clothing line, I guess the best way to put it, being kind of an upscale clothing line, is what caught my eye as being like a cash cow. Because I'm thinking about it, I'm like, are they gonna like try to make like a streetwear brand, or are they gonna try to make like a, I don't know, what do you call Balenciaga? I guess that's streetwear.
Like high end, like
Yeah, some high end, but like it's not really high end. It's just priced high end, so it's a status symbol
Exactly.
high end. Or
And
is it gonna
again-
be more like a Gucci, where it is actually more
like
of a high
mega
end?
expensive. Like,
I don't know. They got the Louis Vuitton on Senna's weapon in the prestige.
could you imagine some
thing, so-
motherfucker walking down the street and be like, "Check this out, dude! I got the new Riot Prestige boots. They're $4 million."
It cost me 800,000 blue essence.
Because again, people are gonna buy it.
Yeah,
People are
yeah.
still gonna buy it.
Yep. There's a market out there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the responses for the questions. We did get our poll back. And like I mentioned earlier, this one's pretty evenly split. We got 29% of people. So, sorry, the question was, how many gemstones do you currently have? The choice selections were 0, 1 to 10, 11 to 25, or 25 to 50, or more than 50. Nobody has more than 50 gemstones, which actually I was like, okay, that's good to see. What was a little weird is that 29% of the people that voted had 26 to 50 gemstones.
I've seen whenever gemstones get brought up on Reddit, there are people who have never gotten gemstones for. I guess they play they're for free players.
Oh.
But I'm like, dude, I've definitely gotten
I've gotten them out
gemstones
of
just
chess.
from chess.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. No, I'm pretty sure you get a gemstone when you hit a milestone level on your account. Like I'm level 500 on my like summoner level. When you get the big capsules, I'm pretty sure you get a gemstone out of those.
Hey, can you continue telling us how you have no life? Just
Shut
kidding. Just kidding. I don't know. I'm only 323 and I don't pay attention when I level up because I don't care. So maybe you do, maybe you don't. I'd have to research that. 14% had 11 to 25 gemstones. 29% had 1 to 10. I fit in that group. I have 8 now. I'd like to get 10 so I can get that Ashen Lord Pike, but I don't know how I'm supposed to get more. in a short amount of time because I don't play often enough.
Yeah.
And 29% had 0 gemstones. So that was also interesting to see, and I'm curious if that group of people just recently cashed in on a skin that they liked in the gemstone crafting. But yeah, that's our question and poll. We will have a new question and poll at the end of the episode for you guys. Should be very interesting because this patch is very interesting.
Yep.
However, before we get to the patch, we're gonna hit that LCS rundown.
Give it
Or
to me.
LCS minute or whatever we're calling it. I don't know what we're calling
LCS
it
minute?
these days. Cool. I'll see if I can make it a minute. All right. On Friday, this is Super Week. So everyone played 3 games unless you're in a tiebreaker, in which case you may have played 4 or 5. Starting off the Friday slot was Golden Guardians versus Team Liquid, in which Team Liquid just absolutely manhandled Golden Guardians, which made me pretty sad because I was hoping maybe Liquid might try to experiment with something and give Golden Guardians a window to increase their playoff chances. It didn't happen. And then immediately after that was Evil Geniuses and FlyQuest, which was the teams that they were tied with for a playoff seeding. And Evil Geniuses took that one. And then things kind of went as you would expect. C9 versus Dig. Immortals versus CLG, where CLG won that game. And TSM versus 100 Thieves, which was pretty straightforward. TSM wasn't really in the same game.
That 0.3% chance of them getting 6.
Yeah, that
blown
sucked.
out of the water.
That sucked. I actually, and like, though I know I've said in the past I don't care about TSM anymore. I do like when there's a chance for like the bottom tier team to make playoffs. I love to see that Miracle run. I was a fan of the Schalke Miracle run a few years ago, or I guess it was last year in LEC. Anytime there's an opportunity, I'm always rooting for that underdog, unless it's Team Liquid. The next day, Team Liquid, of course, smashed Dignitas, which was another competitor for Golden Guardians' spot, but a team that I thought would fall out of playoff contention. They did, spoiler alert, fall out of playoff contention.
Yep.
Golden Guardians took on the Geniuses, who, again, were competing for seeding, and they actually beat EG, which was a bit of an upset, because I feel like EG is actually the better team over GG.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of an upset. And then right after that was another upset, 100 Thieves taking down Cloud9. Again,
C9, I don't know what's going on, man.
1 and 2, dude. I don't know. That was interesting. I know I have heard people say that they are awful in scrims, and it seems like Summit doesn't know what to do against Malphite.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, spoiler for the Sunday game, but he played against Malphite again and got dumpstered.
Yeah. Oh, he got absolutely dumpstered. And I also was hearing that even on like Challengers queue, Summit sometimes gets dumpstered, like 0 and 15. I'm like, oh geez, you don't expect that out of a guy who's like just been absolutely shellacking the league all split. So that was interesting. And then TSM takes a win over their rival CLG, which makes them both the shittiest organization in the LCS. But wait, there's more. FlyQuest loses to Immortals, which again, as a GG fan, that looked great. Immortals being at the bottom of the standings.
Immortals is terrible, dude.
Are they worse than CLG and TSM?
I think they're down there, dude. Also, just saying this, I don't know what happened to Power of Evil, dude. And Revenge is just hot garbage.
Right. They've got a lot of problems, and actually, I felt like they were better off with Raze as their ADC than they are now. But I'm not the coach of that team, so I can't control their decisions. But that was an interesting way to cap off the Saturday with FlyQuest losing. I thought that was actually insane, considering how important all of these games were and how easy, more or less, of an opponent Immortals would be for FlyQuest. The last day, Dignitas actually snakes a game off of 100 Thieves, which was incredibly important because 100 Thieves could have actually ended up in a tiebreaker with C9 had they won that game. Obviously, Evil Geniuses takes down CLG, putting them atop with the three-way tie. between Golden Guardians Fly and EG. And then Cloud9 got stunned by FlyQuest. I felt like that game, they weren't even in that game at all. Like C9 was nowhere to be seen. FlyQuest absolutely dominated the map. Not just the lanes, but they actually dominated the map. And I thought it was rather impressive considering how well C9's played all year. And I'm hoping this isn't that summer split collapse
Oh, God,
happening
no.
early. Like, I'm really hoping that's not the case. um, Golden Guardians came in against Immortals. It was looking a tad bit shaky for a quick second, and then they pulled it out, and immediately once they got the lead, they just didn't look back. And then obviously Team Liquid, actually TSM put up a bit of a fight at the beginning of that game against Liquid, and I did see that Spica was just stoked to have taken down Bjergsen. So I think that was a moral victory, and actually I think that's a good game, a good match for TSM to end their season on, because they're split on, because the split's been so bad for them in terms of morale and all the other things that have happened. To at least go against, you're like, okay, we're probably gonna lose against Team Liquid, and let's just go for it and have some fun. And I felt like they did have fun, even though they lost. I felt like they were having fun on stage, and I think whenever you see a team that just couldn't get it together, when you see them having fun, you're like, all right, like they needed that, you know what I mean?
They needed something.
Yeah, they did. And so at the end, that should have been the end. However, we had two tiebreaker matches. First was Golden Guardians versus FlyQuest, and FlyQuest did to Golden Guardians almost exactly what they did to C9. They controlled that game through and through. Golden Guardians was never really in it, even though they had the gold lead. Their 2,000 gold lead was absolutely nullified by all the stats that weren't showing, mainly the Orin items. So that sucked to watch. And then FlyQuest had another game immediately after that against Evil Geniuses to decide seeding, which Evil Geniuses won. I did not catch the games. I didn't see how handedly they won, but they definitely won. So that set us up in the current standings at the end of the regular season, with Team Liquid actually taking first place from Cloud9.
Make their way up there.
They did. They were what were they, fourth place for a minute, right? And they actually ended up making that climb as EG kind of stumbled and 100T stumbled. They got into second and then made their way to the top seed, which means that I believe they start off against Evil Geniuses as the fourth seed in the upper bracket, and C9 starts against 100 Thieves on Saturday as the second and third seed. FlyQuest takes the fifth, and Golden Guardians takes the sixth, which means they start at the lower bracket. I believe Golden Guardians plays the loser of 100 Thieves C9, and FlyQuest plays the loser of Liquid and EG. And I believe these are all 5-game series. So it should be very, very interesting. Actually, I'm really looking forward to that 100 Thieves C9 game, because that one feels like more of a toss-up compared to the EG TL game. But that's where we're at, guys. That starts this Saturday, April 2nd, and on Sunday, April 3rd, you'll catch the Team Liquid game. Other than that, that's all I got.
Awesome. And I guess we should also mention that this new patch we're about to read is what they're going to be playing on. So they literally have
Just
less
a
than
few
5
days.
days. No,
Yeah.
less than like 2 days.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me for that, because I forgot about that, and that is gonna be very interesting. I think that does give a slight edge to Evil Geniuses if they can capitalize against Team Liquid. Being the lower seed, they have, I wouldn't say nothing to lose, but they have less to lose, I feel like, because they are the underdog, right? Team Liquid is definitely the favorite, and so Evil Geniuses might just pull some crap out of their ass and maybe take a game or two, maybe drive it to a 5-game series. So should be rather interesting, but stay tuned for that if you guys are into the LCS. That should be actually a great playoff starting matchup.
And they're having fans back, so that's going to be even better.
Yes, they are. They did sell out the LCS arena for, I think, all the playoff games.
That's going to be hype. I can't wait to just hear a crowd.
Right, right, dude. They're all gonna chant TSM because they're not in the tournament. So you got that going for us.
All right, guys, really quick, we're gonna take a break. All right, welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back, y'all, to 12.6.
Ooh, so just looking at this, it looks like a very small patch.
It does.
But
When
I
you
know
look at
there's
the preview, but there's a lot more systems changes, and actually, I do want to go over their blurb at the beginning because I think that's gonna give us a nice outline for what we're looking at. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
There are three patch notes, people that worked on this, rioters. Sorry, that's the word I'm thinking of. And like the first sentence here says squad up for patch 12.6. So I hear that and I'm like, wait, are they telling me to play more flex queue games or more games with more people? Are we piggybacking off the solo duo issue?
I think
Those those are the first things that came to my mind when I hear
it's
that sentence.
it's the skins. They're
It
like
is.
a team of skins.
It is, because then you read
Oh,
the
yeah.
next sentence, it goes,
Yeah.
Anima Squad up, that is. And I went, oh.
Oops.
It's been a hot minute since the mid-patch 12.5 balances. So there's a lot in store this week. In addition to some spunky new sci-fi skins, we have buffs and nerfs galore, a set of adjustments to Rengar, and systemic changes to sustain items and runes. Phase 1 of the Mythic content overhaul is also finally here. Keep reading to find out more about Mythic Essence, the Mythic Shop, unvaulted prestige skins, and an update on Phase 2. Anyway, back to the Rift. Herd norms are looking kind of sus this week. Go check that out. So I don't know what that means, but that kind of sounds cool. So we're looking at, what are we looking at? Nerfs for Hecarim and Tryndamere, which is probably about time.
Right.
Buffs for Azir, Darius, Jax, and Nidalee.
Darius makes me nervous.
It does, but I haven't seen Darius in a hot minute, although I guess you're going to have to start playing Darius top.
Hate that champion.
An adjustment to Alawi and an adjustment to Rengar. And just as a quick note, the nerfs to Tryndamere and Hecarim are targeted at high elo and pro play. The buffs do not say that they're targeted towards anybody, so I don't know what to make of that. But I guess we'll find out here in a minute. They talk about the new skins, all the Battle Bunny skins or Battle Animal, I guess.
The Anima Squad,
Is that what
whatever.
they're calling it? Oh yeah,
That's whatever they're. It's like Star Guardian something.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then you're seeing a lot of nerfs to lifesteal items and a new rune. So without further ado, let's get
Also,
into these
really
go
quick
ahead.
though, I don't know how much time this is gonna take. So,
We'll hit the Rengar changes at the very end.
or we might just make another episode depending on
Or
how
that.
long this one is.
Yeah.
So, I know there's a pretty good chunk of this is Rengar changes. So
Yeah. Yep.
just bear with us.
Cool. Hit me with Azir, dude. He's first up on the list.
This is another champion that if they touch a little too much or buff him a little too much, he gets insane. You'll see this champion
Yeah.
in fucking pro play every goddamn game.
Seriously. And then it's Azir Corki mid lane every
Right.
game.
So health growth is going up by 13 per level, and at level 18, it's gonna have an additional 200 and what is that? 21.
21. Yep.
221 extra health.
That's almost no, that's more than a ruby crystal, so that's an extra 400 gold basically in his pocket at level 18. I think
And,
that's
I
decently
mean,
impactful.
If you're level 18 as zero, it's kind of like a Kale thing. Like I feel like you just win the game.
Right,
if you're
right,
playing it
right.
correctly.
I was gonna say, is that like the only real changes they can do to Azir without absolutely destroying the game?
Yeah, because that champion's insane.
Because I don't think 221 health does too much more than let him survive an auto attack or two from or a spell from
Right.
an enemy laner. But at that point, you should be team fighting anyway. So interesting. Hit me with the Darius changes because he's up next.
Our base damage increased. Okay, it wasn't that bad.
No, but I think it still makes him more potent.
Oh yeah. So I mean, at level 6, first rank of your R, you're gonna get an extra 25 base damage, and then at level 3 rank alt, you are gonna get an extra 75 damage.
You get 25, 50, and 75. Nothing too crazy, but remember that is true damage, so it's unmitigated or non-mitigatable.
And as I remind you in this blurb right here, his ult's damage is increased up to 100% based on how many stacks of his bleed he has.
Yep.
So 5 stacks, Noxian Might, you're going to get fucked.
Yep, that's 125 damage at level 1. So, or level, I guess when you're level 6, skill level 1. So he definitely packs a punch, and playing Malphite into Darius is not the way to go.
Actually, it's not. I don't. Is
not
wait,
terrible,
the ulti is
but-
true damage, right? Okay,
Yeah,
never mind.
it doesn't.
Drunk.
You just end up getting bullied out, even though you're a. Well, doesn't his passive do true damage too?
No, the bleed is physical.
Okay, that's helpful. Yeah, fuck his passive at the early levels. That shit's way too strong.
Yep, just ran me down. Anyways, all right, Hecarim, let's go.
Hecarim with a Q and E base damage decreased late. They are hitting the scaling on this champion because he's just all over pro right now. His ulti is just too fucking good. And then obviously you couple that with the E, the devastating charge, and like you just have like a lot of CC for a champion that probably shouldn't have a lot of CC. If he's able to run you down, he shouldn't have too much CC, right? So you're looking at the Q Rampage. The damage is dropping. So it was 60 to 208 base damage, levels 1 through 6. It's now 60 to 180. So not a big deal. Although I believe he gets bonus damage, right? If you keep hitting enemies with the Q.
It's the cooldown.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I mean, it definitely does more damage than a regular auto attack from him, but it's not a huge thing. So it's just gonna mean he's not hitting you as hard late.
It's your plus. I mean, you're building tank with this dude, so you're rushing Chem tank. Yeah. So I mean, why is he? If you're building tank again, why should you be doing more damage?
Right.
So
right.
Your Q is your you're leveling up that first. So level 9, you're gonna feel at 28 less damage.
Yeah. And then his E devastating charge. So the minimum total damage was 30 to 110 plus the 55% bonus AD scaling. It is now 30 to 90 plus 55 bonus AD scaling. So not a huge difference. Again, just a little hit on that. And then the maximum damage was 60 to 220 plus 110 bonus AD. It's now 60 to 180 plus 110 bonus AD.
That one's hit pretty good.
So that one, yeah, obviously the maximum is double what the minimum is. So
sure,
the maximum is gonna feel definitely different. So you're gonna want to use that less of a.
You don't want to charge that all
burst.
The way up before you.
Exactly.
Right, Alawi quality of life changes. Oh, we got some bug fixes. This is different. Okay. What is her ult doing? R, Leap of Faith, now cast with Alawi facing towards your cursor, allowing for more favorable tentacle spawn rotations. Okay, that's kind of cool.
Okay, yeah.
So if I want to ult, because sometimes you want to ult and then pull the spirit out or whatever, or vice versa. But I mean that's nice. Okay. Bug fixes. I feel like this champion's had a lot of issues. Just
yes.
Based on the whole tentacle.
I was gonna say I think it comes from the tentacle spawn thing because it doesn't work quite the same way as like Zyra plants or Heimer turrets. They definitely work differently, and so I think you're right. It comes a lot from the way those tentacles actually interact on the map.
So okay, let's see. When Alawi attacks a vessel while empowered by W, okay, nearby inactive tentacles will now slam her target as soon as they become active. So say if I'm understanding this correctly, when you yank the spirit out, you kill the health of it, and they get slowed. Any tentacles that are already there just immediately start slamming. Is that what I'm?
I don't think so. That's because the pull is the E, right?
Yes.
So yeah, if you pull it out, and the W is the like when you hit something, it causes the tentacles to slam. And I think before there was a slight delay, like a very short, maybe quarter second when she'd go in, she'd hit, and then the tentacles would slam. And I think she hits and the tentacles slam at the same time.
I don't understand why I said inactive.
That I don't understand.
Because whenever
maybe does that mean that well, no, I don't know. Because when they're inactive, she's not around.
That's what I'm saying. Because they have, I would consider them active when they have the 2 health bars. So like she's near. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. Weird.
Riot and the writing things. All right. Spell queuing has been added to W and R, so you can now buffer other spells while casting them.
Oh, that's good.
Interesting.
That's actually good
Okay.
because then you can, I mean, if you're gonna cast Harsh Lesson and then Q right on top of that, like get the double hit there, would work kind of like Alistair's WQ, right?
Mhm. W
Or
harsh lessons. What were you gonna say?
let's say, or you ulti in and then hit the Harsh Lesson right as soon as the tentacles come up from the ulti, then you hit the Harsh Lesson and they all crash down. That's pretty gross too.
CW visual indicators have been fixed and will show the correct range of her empowered basic attacks. I had no idea that was. I don't play this champion, so I had no idea there was. The indicator was wrong for the W. Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that
Tentacles
either.
can no longer spawn on either team's base gates on Summoner's Rift.
Okay.
No.
Vessels no longer contribute to Alawi's creep score when they expire or are destroyed. That's
Huh.
important, I guess.
Tentacle Smash and E. Q and E will now be visible to nearby enemy champions when casting from Fog of War. Okay, I guess that's low
That's
key a
weird.
nerf.
Right. That is weird.
Hmm.
Okay. Actually, I've been seeing this champion a little bit more frequently. And if she's in the wrong hands, she's absolutely terrible. When she's in the right hands, she's scary as fuck.
Yeah, this champion can get out of control if it's.
Very quickly. And she does scale somewhat. Like, unlike Renekton, who, like, towards the late game, unless he's level 18 and no one else is, where he feels like I can deal with him, she feels undealwithable, unfuckwittable.
I like that. Okay.
But we'll move down to Jax. He's next up on our list, and the base health is increased, and the W base damage is increased. So he's getting a base health increase. That's actually quite significant. He was at 503.
I think
He's gonna go ahead.
Is that 590? Is it 503?
Oh, is that a 9? Oh, you're right. That is definitely a 9. That's 593. It looks like
Well,
503.
let's blame Riot. I was gonna say 100 fucking.
I know. That's
extra
why I was like,
HP,
it's
that's
sizable. It's
insane.
not as sizable as I thought it was.
Yeah, but once again,
593.
Riot putting dashes through fucking.
Strike throughs through 9s when it's not obvious that it's a 9 or a 0. They should be using 0s with the slash through the middle so you can tell.
Right.
So it's going from 593 to 615. So a little bit of a buff there. That's like a
22, I think.
an auto attack.
22. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah. And then the W Empower was and it's just the base damage they're changing here, so none of the scaling, which this skill scales off of AP.
Oh, it's just going up by 10.
Yeah, exactly. 10 at all levels.
Okay.
So it was 40 to 180 to 50 to 190. And I think that's important because in the past, when you used to build Triforce and it would give you AP, you don't have that anymore. So
Yeah, let's just talk about that for a second. Let's talk about Jax for a second. I mean, you could also used to build Gunblade on this dude because he has so much
Right.
mixed damage.
Right.
One thing I feel like he needs to get like a little bit of attention because the way his ult works is he gains resistances based on how much AD he has. He'll get armor for a percentage of AD he has, and then he gets magic resist for a percentage of AP he has. Why is that a thing? You're not gonna build AP Jax.
Right. You're not building Nashor's Tooth on Jax. I'm sorry. It's not.
It's a
you'll build Wit's End before you build Nashor's Tooth on Jax.
It's very odd.
It is weird, and I think it worked in the past when the items were there, but this season the items aren't there anymore, so it's just strange.
Let's do something with him, Riot, please.
Right. Well, the one thing about Jax is he can get out of control pretty quickly too.
Right.
Not typically to the buffs, but usually item buffs are what puts Jax totally out of control. So interesting little tidbit there. Like I said, definitely helpful because the W does do magic damage, but we're only talking 10 damage, so I don't think it's anything too crazy to worry about. But on to a long one with Nidalee. She's getting her human form W cost decreased, her E mana cost decreased late, and cast range increased, which is her heal, and her Cougar W damage radius increased. So Nidalee's getting a pretty fat buff, which I'm scared about because this champion is actually insane in the right hands.
I think in high elo at least. I don't.
As I say, think Yankos. This
He's missing
man,
all those spears.
yeah, he'll miss every spear, but he'll nail your ass with the cougar.
Damn, okay.
So her human form, the Bushwhack mana cost, was 40 to 60. It's now 30 to 50. That's just her
nice.
little trap, which are annoying as shit, especially if you're playing an ARAM. Like, dear God, they're annoying as shit. So I don't like seeing that, but it is what it is. Can't change that. Not a big change there. Her E, the Primal Surge. This is the heal, and I think it's an attack speed steroid. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is.
The mana cost was 50 to 90. It's now 50 to 70. And her cast range was 600. It's now 900, which
That's
is the
insane,
same as her W.
dude.
The
That's
heal is
like-
pretty small, and she generally uses it on herself. But pretty big. I mean, that's pretty sizable.
Give me some Nidalee support, dude.
900 units is longer than Caitlyn's auto attack range, just to give you an idea of what you're looking at.
That's like-
650 is her auto attack range. So before it was just a little shorter. Now it's
a
hella
lot.
longer.
That's like a quarter more. Like, what the
Right.
fuck? That's big.
That is big. And the Cougar form is getting an extra 25 units on the damage radius from 225 to 250. That's for pounce. And so her pounce is her engage. That's her, like, oh, you stepped on my trap. Now I'm going to jump your bones, Q, EU, and then I'm going to switch back, E myself, maybe throw a spear or whatever it is she's going to do. She's going to murk your face. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
We'll pass over the Rengar because there's a lot there. We'll circle back around if we have time. But tell me about Tryndamere.
Oh,
That's
boy,
that's
here
your
we go.
boy right
Finally,
there, dude.
this champion has been needing nerfs for so fucking long because, like, well, it's not even he didn't even receive anything. It was just the fact that teleport got changed last year,
Yeah.
and now you can just take Ghost on Tryndamere and just run some motherfuckers down where he can just split push. I mean, split pushers got more powerful with the teleport change,
Do
so you don't need to take it.
without having gone through the changes, do you feel like maybe this might take your boy out, and are you going to be happy to not have to play him anymore?
Yes to both because I like Tryndamere. I know I skip
Least
forward
interactive
playing him,
champion in
dude.
the
Like,
game?
sure, I'm getting wins. Let's hold on. Let's reel it back a little bit. I'm not playing fucking ranked anymore because I hit gold, so I don't fucking give a shit.
Okay.
I feel disgusted with myself that I had to play this champion. But yeah, let's look it up. So E cooldown reduction per critical strike is okay, perfect. So before you would when you would crit on a minion, it would lower the cooldown of your E by 1 second, and if you crit on an enemy champion, it would be 2 seconds. Now you combine that with Navori Quick Blades.
It's fucking broken. dude.
You could not escape this dude.
Yeah.
He would auto attack a minion wave and then spin at you like a asshole.
Question: is he
Yeah.
the only champion that uses Navori Quick Blades?
I would argue you could build it on Lucian, but I don't think.
You can, but there's better items out there for Lucian right
Let's
at
say
this
it's
moment.
good, but it wouldn't be. This is like you built the
This-
second item.
Right. It's broken on Tryndamere.
So they are changing it from 1 second to 0.75 seconds, and then if that's for non-champions, and then 2 seconds to 1.5 seconds per champions. I don't think that's that much.
No.
A quarter, and then
Especially
yeah,
if you have
a quarter.
100% crit, dude. You're hitting that every time.
Yeah, right. It's so easy. You get one item, and I think your passive gives you 40% max crit when you stack it up.
I think
your
so.
passive,
I
and
think
then
so.
you get another item that's 25%, whatever, or 20%. So you're at 60% off one item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
gross.
for her Undying Rage, oh, this one's good. They are increasing the cooldown by 20 seconds early.
Oh, it's good. That's actually really good.
I think, I mean, I think you knew this. I think maybe I told you, but you would only take 1 point in your R. You
Yeah.
would not level it up at 11 or 16 because there's
Right.
no point. It was only a 10-second increase
Right.
or decrease in cooldown. Now it's 20 seconds early, and then yeah, exactly.
It's 20 seconds at each rank, right? except for the final. It goes back to
Yeah,
90.
final. So again, they want you to level up your R.
Right. Which
So
I don't want Tryndamere to do, because the less often he has it, the more often I can actually possibly maybe kill him. So I got
It's
that
tough.
going for me.
So I think this is good. He might still be played. I don't think the E change. I think the R changes are bigger than the E. But
Agreed. Because the E, at a certain point, he's attacking so goddamn fast that a half second doesn't make much of a difference. It's one more auto
Right.
attack than it would have
Yeah,
taken.
and every auto attack eventually is going to be reducing. And again,
Right.
Navori, I don't fucking
Right.
insane. All right, so that does it with champions. Aside from Rengar, who hopefully we will.
We could circle back around to, or have a
Yeah.
second episode on.
So let's move
Um,
down to. Wait, I guess we could group this.
These are all
Together.
together. Yes, the items changes are all together. So,
Lifesteal.
as mentioned in the paragraph, the opening paragraph is that they're hitting the sustain. So as Dean just said, lifesteal is really what they're targeting. But I know even in the runes they're hitting some sustain in Bloodline, which I think Bloodline is Omnivamp now, if I remember correctly.
We'll get there.
Exactly. We'll get there. So what they're doing is they're taking, I believe it's 2%. Yeah, 2%. So Vampiric Scepter is the main item, right? Vampiric Scepter gives you, or gave you, 10% lifesteal. It's now going down to 8%, which I think it was in the past. If I remember correctly, I think that's how it was a few years ago. It was 8%.
Mhm.
Which means that Blade of the Ruined King is not going to have 10% lifesteal. It's only going to have 8%. And Immortal Shield Bow will no longer have 10%. It'll only have 8%. And for the Ornn Masterwork item, it goes from 12% down to 10%. Also, with Immortal Shield Bow, you're going to gain some on the shield.
Yeah, they're kind of trying to compensate.
Right.
For a
Which
little
I think
bit,
is fair, because I feel like sometimes when you're playing, like, the shield just pops instantly. Like, sometimes you're like, why is there even a shield? It's just destroyed until you're later on in the game where you have some power. So Shield Bow was 275 to 650, levels 1 through 18 on the shield. It's now 275 to 700.
50 extra shield is not going to do shit.
Right, and you're going to get the same on the Blood Ward, which is the Ornn item.
Right.
And the Mythic passive was 5 bonus AD and 50 health. It's now 5 bonus AD and 70 health.
See,
so
like
you get a little
that.
bit more.
I like that.
That's going to equal out roughly to, that's going to equal out to 100 health at full items, right?
Right.
We went over Blade of the Ruined King and Vampiric Scepter. So those are the big changes here. They're just trying to take the sustain down. So they're going to give you the temporary health in terms of a shield. Let me try that again. In terms of a shield, instead of saying like an idiot. But they're going to take away the sustained health you get from actually attacking something. So I think that's a fair trade-off. It is designed to make the items a tad bit weaker.
You know what? You know what this tells me? Like, that's screaming at me. It's
That
gonna make
Grievous is useless?
Bloodthirster that more
Oh,
valuable.
yeah. That too, because they're not touching Bloodthirster. So
That's
you're right.
still what 20% lifesteal.
Yeah, dude, that
That's a-
item is insane.
See,
and
like,
with
you're
crit and everything.
now I could see people saying fuck shield bow. Give me
Kraken
fucking-
or Gale Force.
and then Bloodthirster second. That's gonna
Right.
give me a shield and a lot more lifesteal. Like it's
I feel like you're better off with Gale Force on that too, just because you're diving in and trying to hit it. And I do still feel like Blade of the Ruined King is still relevant, just because it has the slow. It does an ass ton amount of damage elsewhere,
right.
and it's just the lifesteal that they're hitting. And that item, although you do buy it for lifesteal, you're not buying it purely for the lifesteal, where you are buying Shield Bow for the lifesteal and the shield, right? So I think it's less effective on Blade and far more effective on Shield Bow, because I feel like Shield Bow is the one that's taking over, being the main item that people are building.
All right, so that does it for the items. We're gonna continue with the healing items. So
healing
Ravenous
runes?
Hunter is going bye.
Yes, this blew me away when I saw it on the preview. Or not on the preview, when I was looking for the patch notes this morning, I stumbled across Surrender at 20. This is one of the things I saw, was the Ravenous Hunter getting traded out for the new rune Treasure Hunter. But I didn't see what Treasure Hunter was, so please tell me about Treasure Hunter.
Gain 70 gold when you claim a bounty hunter stack. Bounty hunter. This bounty is increased by 20 gold for each bounty hunter stack. So, I'm not sure where this is coming from.
This rune fucking sucks.
I feel like what are supports the only thing gonna take this? I feel like this is only worth on supports.
I don't know. This rune fucking sucks. You might take it on a champion that uses first strike because you're trying to get gold early. That's the whole point of
I
that
mean,
rune.
I don't know, man. Like, so 70 gold when you claim a bounty hunter stack. So then,
so 70 for the first one,
and then
90 for the second, 110, 130, 150.
So how much gold is that? And then that's it, right? You don't get any
Right.
extra gold.
No, I don't think so. So let me look. 70 plus 90 plus 110 plus 130 plus 150.
So, like,
I take it back.
500
It's
gold.
550 gold. That's actually quite a bit. That's equivalent to a vampiric scepter, which Ravenous Hunter was not.
See, that's what I'm like. It's
But I
not
still
a
think that
lot,
fucking
but I feel
sucks.
like I could see supports taking this just to get a little extra injection of gold.
I can see a
early.
Yasuo taking this, or basically like a hyper carry. A hyper carry taking this because they want to get off the ground early, or an early game champion taking this. But I would not see a mid game champion taking this. So like Samira, I could see taking this if she can get a couple early kills. And Samira's really strong right now, by the way. That's just a little tip for you guys. So I could see her taking this rune just to get a couple kills early, get that money in your pocket, buy your mythic early on. I could see Draven taking this because he's all about gold injection early. I take back what I said about hyper carries taking it because they would be more defensive early on in the game than they would be.
I mean,
able to
yeah,
cash
you
in
just
on this.
any champion that's gonna want to get going early is gonna want this.
Right. So it's an interesting one.
Very random. All right, moving on to Fleet Footwork, taking a small change from the
Yeah,
healing.
this is an interesting one because I feel like this rune doesn't heal you that much anyways, and so they're nerfing it, which is weird.
It's just they're just trying to keep up with the theme of less healing, less sustain.
Right. I feel like this thing doesn't give you shit anyways, so I'm like, they probably could have left it, but anyways, what are they doing to this thing?
So base numbers are staying. It's still 1 to 100 levels, level 1 through 18. The bonus AD is getting dropped by 10%, and then the AP is getting dropped by 10%. 10%. So it's a small, very tiny nerf.
Right.
I
Like I said, this rune doesn't do shit anyways, so I'm actually a little surprised that they're even touching it. And I like you said, they're just sticking with the theme, but like, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't do jack shit.
well, it's even doing
More
less jack
useless.
shit now. I mean,
Right,
especially
right, like-
if you also take into consideration Ravenous Hunter's gone. I mean, that shit. I remember, was it? It must have been last season. It was insanely broken. Like every fucking
Yes.
champion took that, and then they nerfed it into the ground.
Right.
Because I think like before it got nerfed, it gave you a flat 2.5 vamp, and then they nerfed it, and then it had no vamp until you got a stack. So it was
Yeah.
Because I feel
Yep.
like every ADC was taking
was
Ravenous
taking it,
Hunter
right,
Red
right.
Tree. So now that's gone. Fleet's down.
Fleet's
It's
down
bad.
and Bloodline's going down because they're up next,
Right.
losing 0.2% per stack at 15 stacks. So it used to give you 9% at 15 stacks. It's now 6% at 15 stacks. However,
Yeah, I'll say however.
after reaching maximum legend stacks, your maximum health increases by 100, which really ain't jack shit because you should get that stack around roughly about 15 minutes, I think. If you're playing ADC, you'll get that last stack.
I mean, yeah, depending on
you
how
only
many
get 100
if you're
health,
fed,
so-
you're gonna
Right.
get fast. So
I think you can also get it on large minion kills, maybe if it's 15 stacks. I don't remember, but yeah, either way, it's taking a nerf, a pretty fat nerf. 9% to 6% is a pretty big deal when it comes to lifesteal. So keeping with that theme, like you said earlier, Bloodthirster is going to become the lifesteal item.
It's gonna be fucking good, dude.
So yeah, think about that. Think about that. And that's the end of the in-game changes. Here comes all the mythic stuff, and I think I'd actually rather talk about Rengar than go through this mythic stuff.
Sure. I mean, we've already talked about it a million times. Your mythic
Right.
essence is getting converted, guys. Go read it. All the
Read
skins,
And
all
if,
these.
if oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say all these skins. If there's some skins that came out in 2018, this is gonna be, I think, for the rest of the year or maybe 6 months. You're gonna be able to get a chance to get these skins.
Yeah, and if you guys want us to go over those, just let us know.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think Rengar, you could call Rengar, is probably a little more.
It's more relevant to the actual game, and obviously to this episode where the mythic changes we can go over on a separate episode maybe next week if you guys want us to do that and continue going into what they're actually doing, because now they have more information than they did when they released the dev blog a couple months ago. But
Right.
anyways, let's drop that subject. Let's go on to Rangity Dangity, the Stabby Cat.
All right, and also thank you guys for hanging in there. It's a long episode, so
Yes.
we're getting through it, baby. All right, Rengar. Passive. We'll start with the passive. Rengar's next leap will grant 1 ferocity, and before it would only grant you 1 if you had no ferocity.
Okay.
So we're starting so no matter what you're leaping, you're getting a stack. And then it is changing to upon losing all ferocity stacks, no matter how much ferocity he gains before his next leap.
Okay.
I'm trying to process that. Okay. Rengar's next leap attack will grant 1 ferocity upon losing all ferocity stacks, no matter how much. Does that feel like it's just like a run-on sentence? What am I tripping? Because like it feels like it says upon losing all ferocity stacks, and then it has no matter how much ferocity he gains before his next leap in parentheses. Should there not be like a continuation of what they were gonna say? Can you help me? I'm like I feel.
English is a.
Just read it. Just let's see.
Yeah.
Rengar's
next
leap.
Let me just try it out here. So Rengar's next leap will grant 1 ferocity upon losing all ferocity stacks, no matter how much ferocity he gains before his next leap.
I don't.
So does that just mean he gets 1 ferocity regardless?
I don't fucking know. Fuck Riot.
Right. What does that mean?
I don't.
I feel stupid. We're gonna figure it out in 3 days and be like, that's what it means.
Because it's like I don't know.
Let me get down to the next one and see if maybe that makes sense.
Oh, you're right. This happens to us all the fucking time.
Right. Rengar will be able to leap after 0.35 seconds in brush or camouflage consistently, rather than based on a 0.3 to 0.45 second timer. So the leap range has been slightly increased to offset the variability. Okay, so it's just more constant of a leap. That doesn't help us. However, there's another piece to this passive where it says Rengar now has a ferocity resource bar that indicates how much ferocity he currently has. Stacks generated by leaps will have a different color, so you'll know if you'll gain ferocity on your next leap. That makes more fucking sense. You'll know when you see it, is what I'm getting here. So for now, I don't play this champion, so I really don't know shit about him, other than he's a stabby cat, and when you see that fucking eye above you, it means he's coming for that booty. That's all I know about this champion.
Okay, so on top of all that, it's getting a small buff, as in it's getting the duration of the stacks is getting increased by 2 seconds out of combat.
Okay, so instead of falling off after 8, it's falling off after 10.
That's pretty nice. Bone Tooth Necklace takedown timer. Wow. Getting
Christ.
an assist or kill within 3 seconds now. It's getting doubled. It was 1.5 seconds. You have 3 seconds after damaging an enemy champion. That's pretty big.
1.5 felt like you just had to burst the fuck out of somebody to get that. So, 3 seconds is crazy. This champion's going to scale up a lot faster, I think.
Man, I hate this champion, man. I hated playing against him now top lane too. Like,
oh, you just ban the fuck out of this champion.
It's gonna be even worse now that he gains a stack per leap. Because he just runs into the bush and leaps on me.
Right. And then he's going to proceed to eat your asshole.
Clean out. Okay. Q.
Q.
Savagery. Rengar's Q empowered basic attack is now always a critical strike. Oh my god.
Wait, what? Why?
So, okay, is that empowered Q as in his max ferocity Q?
I would think, yeah, that's got to be empowered Q. It's
Okay.
always critical strike. So instead of regular crit strike damage, each 1% crit strike chance increases this
My
empowered attack's
brain
damage by
fucking
0.66. So, okay, so it's saying the critical strike.
Is not fully.
Okay, let me try to say this again. That makes more sense. So, critical strike damage, I believe, is it 30? No, it's 50%, right? 50% on top of what you would normally deal.
I thought it was 100. Was it 75%?
Or maybe, okay, you're right. I think it's 75. It used to be double a long time
It used
ago.
to be double. Old
So it
Infinity,
is
yes.
75% more powerful. So, what they're saying, instead of that regular critical strike damage, they're going to take the critical strike chance. So you got to think like the way that Ash works. Her slow works on critical strike chance, not on crit damage. So the more crit you build, the more she can slow. The more crit you build for Rengar, the more his empowered attack does. But it only scales off that crit strike chance by 2/3. If you buy IE, it's
99.
basically a 1-to-1. So that means if you have 100% crit on Rengar, which you shouldn't have 100% crit on Rengar, he's an assassin. If you have 100% crit with an IE, Rengar can actually almost double his attack. You would get 99%, which is,
I mean,
for all intents and purposes, double the damage.
they're encouraging you to build, because you see these
They are.
bruiser Rengars.
Yes.
So I mean, I could see. You could go Dustblade, and then
Ghostblade.
Ghostblade. I mean, I'm trying to think of
Collector.
like I would say Collector with crit.
Collector has crit.
I could see you building like full crit just to be that. You're gonna fucking one shot motherfuckers. Like you think you get deleted by Rengar now?
Right.
I just imagine if you just went full glass cannon. If you slap
But-
on an Infinity Edge.
If you build Dustblade, I don't think you can get 100% crit, because I think you need
Well, you wouldn't. You'd get
one of the
you
mythics, right?
You could at least get 60, which is
Right.
all you need for E. IE.
Right. So you could get an extra pretty much 60% damage on your empowered Q if you have IE. So that's something. If you don't have IE, you're only getting 2/3. So keep that in mind. That's a very, very important piece. And I feel like now you have to build IE on Rengar, which is an expensive ass item. And if you don't get off the ground early as an
Right.
assassin, you're never going to get that built. So you have to make the conscious decision. If
Treasure
you're
hunt,
getting off early, you need to
taking-
take that
Gotta
IE.
Gotta build take treasure hunt, get that extra gold.
Yeah, you're right, because he would be a champion that wants that, especially with the Bone Tooth Necklace passive and everything. If he doesn't get off the ground, do not build IE. You will not do yourself any favors. Build yourself an Edge of Night or something. Give yourself an opportunity to survive something. Bear that in mind. I don't play Rengar, but I know that he is a champion that can get bursted. He's an assassin, so I mean, that's what you should expect. So, it also does say that the Q Savagery applies to basic attacks against towers. It does not apply against plants, which I believe is really just important to Zyra.
Or just jungle, like, or is it saying it doesn't consume? Like, so if you have 5 Fury or whatever max Fury, is it 4? Whatever. If you have max
yeah, I think
Fury
it's 5.
stacks, it'll consume if you're using this as a turret because it gives you the extra crit and gives you attack speed.
Right.
But if you use your Q on a like jungle plant,
yeah, like
it
a
won't
blast,
consume.
a blast
It won't
cone.
consume it.
Okay. Maybe you might be right there. Okay.
That's what I'm getting.
Okay, that makes more sense than what I was thinking. That makes a lot more sense than what I was
It's
thinking.
like, damn, that's a.
I know. I'm like,
that's a
what
buff
the
to
hell?
Zyra.
I was gonna say, what the fuck? Okay, So that's the confusing Q. Let's move down to the Bola strike, the E.
The Ebola strike.
So I
Do you
guess
think
he
they
had
did that on purpose?
Ebola. Dude, I didn't even think about that. Probably not. Probably not. Well, when did Rengar come out?
I don't
You know
know.
what? Don't tell me. I don't want to get that far into it. We'll hit that one on the champion review. Eventually, we'll come back to that.
Ebola. All right.
Thank you, Trick2G. So it says no cast, only throw. Rengar can now throw his E Bola strike instantly with 0 cast time during leaps. I didn't know he had a
my
cast
God.
time.
It was very. It was like half a
Very
second.
like okay, quarter second, half second. Okay.
But now it's instant.
It also now grants True Sight and Normal Vision 150 units around the first enemy hit for 2 seconds.
Wow.
That's pretty gross. If you hit an invisible enemy like a Twitch running away or whatever, or a Teemo, they're just gonna die now. So that's interesting. That was one of the changes I did see early on. I didn't see the True Sight, but I did see the basically you can leap and throw it at the same time. So that's actually pretty important. Instead of having to wait to land and then throw it, where you have the opportunity to miss, like you can just throw it where you're leaping. That's it for that, and then the ulti. This is
Cool.
yeah. Now grants not only True Sight but Normal Vision 100 units around the nearest enemy.
I kind of like that because like now if you are playing this degenerate of a champion and you want to go in and one shot the ADC, be like, oh, you only see your target, or I think it's you only see the closest target to you. You get the vision. Now you're like, oh, if I'm gonna go for this enemy Jhin, maybe the Leon is standing right next to him and I can see that and I don't want to go for him.
Yeah,
Maybe.
see that was a nice counterplay of that, and you just lost the counterplay on that. So
I mean, how 100 units not too big.
it's not, but like I feel like sometimes you have the opportunity to fucking annihilate Jin's titties, and then all of a sudden Leona's there, and you're like, well, mistakes were made, and you really had to pick those. But now it's like, oh well, there's no one here. I'm just gonna go kill this guy. So it's definitely a lot safer, and I'm definitely going to be banning the fuck out of this champion.
That wasn't as long as I thought it was gonna be. Okay.
No.
It's still pretty interesting changes though. I might maybe I'll try them.
I fucking hate this champion, dude.
Me too, but he might.
I've been banning Zeri a lot, and that would ban Rengar because he can take over in the top lane. He can take over in the jungle. I don't really know what you do to counter jungle him. I guess you would play somebody who's got early strength, maybe.
Yeah.
Or a tank that can withstand his damage early. I don't know. I feel like you have to hunt him, I guess, to do it. Like a support and a jungler or whatever have to hunt him down in the jungle to get ahead. But I guess it's kind of similar to playing against an Evelynn too.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that does it.
That does it, guys. For our question this week, I want to know what you guys think about the lifesteal changes. We mentioned we think Bloodthirster is going to be the premier lifesteal item. But how do you guys feel about sustain in the game right now? And
yeah, is this good? Is this bad? Do you think it's? I mean, I hate there was way too much healing in the game. I always said that.
Yeah, and I think this is a step in the right direction. And I know we always talk about how sometimes Grievous Wounds just sucks ass anyways. But when we go over your guys' answers, we'll bring those topics back up and back around for you.
Yeah, let us know about sustain and
yeah,
and how much do you think this is gonna impact that. As for a poll, do you think this treasure hunter rune is good? Just make it simple. Yes or no. Is this good? Are you gonna take it? Yes or no?
I almost want to add that to the question. How do you feel about the lifesteal changes, and how do you feel about the treasure hunter?
Okay, we can add those together then.
And then maybe the poll is if you guys want us to go over the mythic
in detail,
shop.
Like even
yeah.
I feel like I think
there's a lot more detail here than we had before. But if you get, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. I just scroll down. So Hextech. Okay. There's some interesting things, and there's a phase 2 update as well. So
do you guys want us to go over Mythic?
Yeah.
Do another episode of Mythic Essence or whatever bullshit
Mythic
content
shop. Mythic shop.
Yeah. Cool. All right, guys. Stay tuned for Friday. That episode will also be coming out for Ash and Fiddlesticks.
Ashel
So-
Sticks.
That thing.
Bill Ash.
Guys, hopefully you do have some gemstones. You get some skins you want to get too.
I just want to tell you guys one last thing about gems before we sign off.
Oh my god.
Gems are truly outrageous.
All right, guys. We'll see you on Friday.
Peace.